Staff, initiate emergency protocol.
Guys, Resident Evil Requiem is out now. And honestly, my brain's still processing what the hell I played. It feels like Capcom shoved two different Resident Evil games into one package. One slow, creeping nightmare and one loud, chaotic action ride. On one side, I'm sneaking around as Grace, terrified to waste a single bullet. And on the other, I'm back with Leon, parrying blades and turning zombies into paste. It's intense, it's nostalgic, and it's definitely not shy about showing off. Requiem really does feel like a split personality. When I'm playing as Grace, it's all about dread, tight corridors, and that constant feeling that I'm not ready for whatever's around the corner. Switch to Leon, and suddenly I'm in full survival action mode, juggling crowds, weapons, and split-second decisions. The way the game structures this is a bit odd. For a big chunk early on, Leon just shows up for short bursts whenever the game wants a big set piece or a boss fight, then vanishes again. It's cool for variety, but it also makes the whole thing feel like two separate games stitched together instead of one smooth campaign. Once both characters get more screen time later, it settles in, but that early back and forth can feel a little uneven. Grace is the character who hooked me. She's an FBI analyst, not some walking tank, and the game really leans into that. She can fight, but she never feels overpowered. Every encounter feels like a risk. Every bullet feels like a decision. The lab she's stuck in is peak Resident Evil energy. Locked doors, looping hallways, rooms you keep revisiting with a knot in your stomach. What I love is how the zombies aren't just mindless bodies. Some of them still cling to their old routines. A maid still fussing over cleaning, someone humming in a lounge, a chef hacking away in the kitchen. It's creepy, sure, but it also gives you little behavioral patterns you can use to sneak past them or lure them around. Then there are blister heads. They're basically upgraded infected that can spawn out of corpses and hit way harder. Because bodies stay on the ground, you're never sure which one is truly dead and which one is a time bomb waiting to mutate. Just walking through a room full of corpses becomes stressful, because any of them could be your next problem. It keeps you second-guessing every decision to run past instead of finishing something off. Grace's crafting system is where things get spicy. Instead of standard gunpowder crafting, you're pulling infected blood from corpses and gore puddles and turning them into ammo, upgrades, and these hemolytic injectors. Those injectors are insanely useful. One hit and an enemy is gone, and the corpse is completely removed, so you know it'll never get back up. The catch is that you're spending the same resource you need for bullets and other tools. It turns every crafting choice into a little argument in your head. Do I save my life later, or survive this room right now? She also has sections where some enemies just cannot be fought head-on. Those stalker-style encounters force you to actually learn the layout, use hiding spots, and move with a plan instead of just sprinting and praying. When the game leans into Grace's slow, strategic horror, it absolutely nails what I want out of modern Resident Evil. Leon is the complete opposite, and honestly, that contrast is half the fun. He's older, tougher, and just done with everyone's nonsense, and his gameplay reflects that. His sections are all about crowd control and improvisation under pressure. You've got firearms, a melee hatchet, and a parry that lets you shut down a lot of attacks if your timing's on point. Combat arenas turn into complete chaos fast. Enemies pick up chainsaws, swing metal objects, blow each other up by accident, and generally make a mess. One of my favorite moments is when a chainsaw gets dropped and just keeps spinning on the ground, chewing through anything dumb enough to walk into it, including other enemies. And yes, you can turn all that chaos back on them, using IV stands as improvised weapons, setting off explosive tanks, and using the environment to thin the herd. The hatchet deserves its own shout-out. You can use it to finish off downed enemies so they don't come back as blister heads, and it ties directly into the parry system. The catch is, it dulls quickly, so you're constantly deciding when to swing, when to sharpen, and when to keep it ready for a clutch block. It makes Leon feel powerful, but there's always that edge of, if I mess up here, this whole room collapses on me. Leon also gets the heavy nostalgia. Going back to Raccoon City, especially the ruined RPD, hits hard if you've been playing these games for years. Seeing familiar spaces broken and burned out adds to the weight of the story, and it's one of the few times the series actually lets you feel how much this character has gone through. That said, his campaign is also where the game leans the hardest on stuff we've already seen. Some encounters and enemy types feel like polished remixes of older ideas. A few puzzles are so straightforward they barely count as puzzles. You find a weird lock, and later the game just hands you the solution on a note. There are also a couple of late sections where enemy spam and unclear objectives cross the line from tense into kind of annoying, because you're dying more from confusion than from fair difficulty. For me, yeah, easily. Requiem feels like Capcom taking everything they've been building toward with the remakes and the recent first-person games and tightening it all up into one package. Grace brings in a fresh type of protagonist and a really strong horror loop. Leon brings in that slick, punchy combat that fans love, with some genuinely cool moments and a bit of emotional weight for him as a character. The downside is that it's not a huge leap forward. A lot of its best moments come from how well they execute ideas we already know work. The enemy variety isn't crazy, the puzzles don't really grow over time, and once you know where the big scares and nostalgia beats are, a lot of the impact fades away on replay. If I had to label it, I'd call Resident Evil Requiem the ultimate comfort zone Resident Evil. I had a great time with it, even when I could see the nostalgia bait coming a mile away. And that's all, you guys. Drop your thoughts in the comments below on this.
Everyone's gone.
Stay away from that!